Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the clothing in Fallout New Vegas and going over the 10 best clothing in Fallout New Vegas. Now, a lot of people have asked me to do an armor tier list, which I might do in the future. It might just turn into top 10 lists like this. This is for clothing, and the main reason why I'm doing this for clothing is that there is a lot of clothing that you can wear throughout Fallout New Vegas and a lot of characters have on, but generally clothing is not really your best option for a lot of reasons. Mostly for combat. Clothing doesn't really help a whole lot in combat, at least generally. Some of them do have some damage resist towards them, which can be useful, but for the most part they don't have very much. You want to be actually wearing light, medium, or heavy armor. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the top 10 clothes in Fallout New Vegas and why they're on the list. They're also not in any particular order. It just depends on what you want. For our very first outfit, we have Benny's suit. Benny's suit is on Benny, the guy who shoots you in the head at the very start of the game. You get this from killing Benny, or taking it off him, or however he's killed. You can then loot his body and take it. This has a damage threshold of 1, so it's not really good for armor. It weighs 3, so it's not too heavy. And the main reason why you would want to get this is its 2 effects, which is plus 5 barter and plus 5 speech. Barter and speech are pretty good to have because they have the most skill checks out of anything in the game. And just having a suit that you could flip to get through a speech check or get through a barter check is very useful, and adding another 3 weight to your overall bag is probably not going to be a huge deal. It also looks kind of nice. You have the classic checkered suit here. For our second outfit, we have the Bounty Hunter Duster. This one is a little bit unique in that it can actually be used as armor. You can potentially get 3 of these, or there's 3 of them in the game. The main one that you're probably going to get is from Caleb, at least if you do the quest Debt Collector. This is for the Garrett twins at the Atomic Wrangler. This is the last part of their quest where you have to go and hunt down the bounty hunter, and if you choose to kill him, then you can take his outfit. There's a couple other characters that do have this too, like Red Lucy, and Beatrix also has it. I think it's a really cool looking outfit. This one actually has the damage threshold of 6, which is pretty good. That's actually on par with a lot of light armor, so it's not terrible to be taken as armor, especially if you have something like toughness, where then you could potentially go up to 9 or 12. And then you could also have the subdermal implant, which gives you another 4. So you could go all the way up to 16, which is pretty good if you're just considering regular light armor, because a lot of regular light armor doesn't even get up to 16. So this one is actually decent. It has okay health, so it doesn't break very quick. It only weighs 3, which is fine as well. And it also gives you 2 effects. These effects are plus 1 charisma and plus 5 guns. Plus 5 guns is pretty nice. You could potentially get a little bit more damage with certain weapons that way, or you could potentially hit the wielding requirements for guns if you're going to the guns build, as well as charisma does affect barter and speech, which have the most amount of skill checks out of anything. So again, it's another nice option to throw on, and this is probably one of the best options if you just want to be wearing clothes as armor, because having something that's 3 weight that can still get you a decent amount of damage resist is not terrible at all. Coming in at number 3, we have Dr. Klein's Scrubs. This is in Old World Blues. You can get this in Higgs Village. This is in the House 101, and it is just on top of a wardrobe. This has 4 damage resist and weighs 4, which isn't too bad. It has okay damage resist then for clothing. Its item health is pretty high, so it takes a while for this to break. And then the 2 big reasons you want to have this is plus 10 science and plus 2 intelligence. Plus 2 intelligence can be very useful. Intelligence does have a lot of skill checks associated with it. It would also get you more points for your repair, your medicine, and for your science. So this actually stacks with its own science. So you can actually get plus 14 with science just with this one. Then you throw on like a book, you have plus 24 or plus 34 if you're running comprehension. And you could also take on like mentats, assuming your intelligence can go higher than that. And you could potentially have like plus 36, plus 38, something like that for your science skill, which is a huge buff to science if you need to break into a computer or something. And this one is really easy to get. It's kind of out of the way to get, but you're probably going to be going to Higgs Village anyway if you are in Old World Blues and you plan on doing the majority of the quests there. And then coming in at number 4, we have another set of scrubs. This is Dr. MOBIUS' scrubs, which you get this one in the Forbidden Zone, I believe. So this is towards the very end of Old World Blues once you can talk to Dr. Mobius or confront Dr. Mobius or whatever you choose to do. This one weighs 6 and protects for 6, so it has the same sort of stat line as the Dr. Klein's Scrubs, with a little bit more weight and a little bit better armor. It does actually tie with the highest amount of armor of clothing with the Bounty Hunter's outfit, although the Bounty Hunter's outfit is 3 weight less. This one, on the other hand, does have better item health than the Bounty Hunter, just as good as Dr. Klein's Scrubs, and it gives you plus 1 charisma, plus 15 science, and plus 2 intelligence. So you can stack up your science even higher, as well as this one's even better than Dr. Klein's because it just gives you much more. The only downside is that it weighs 2 more, but that's not such a huge downside. Getting more barter, more speech, more repair, more medicine, and more science is all great. You get a ton of science from this. You basically get plus 19, assuming you're not already very high in intelligence anyway, which again can stack with things like magazines, could stack with comprehension, and it could stack with chems like the mentats. So you have a lot of options there for just stacking a ton of science up so that you can break into places. It makes it really easy, even if you don't have any of that, like let's say you didn't go with comprehension, let's say your intelligence is maxed out, plus 15 plus a book still gets you to 25. So you would only need to have 75 science at any given time so that you could unlock anything. Coming in at number 5, we have the Follower's Lab Coat. The Follower's Lab Coat you can get as soon as you become idolized with the Followers of the Apocalypse. You just have to talk to Julie and she will give this to you. She'll also give you the key to their safe house with this, which is pretty awesome. This one has 0 damage threshold, so it doesn't work very well for armor whatsoever because it isn't armor. And it only weighs 2, which means it is affected by the Pack Rat perk, which is pretty awesome. Cuts it down to 1 weight. That's very handy. The main reason why you're going to be taking this is because of its effects, where you get plus 10 medicine and plus 10 science. Plus 10 medicine is great. You can potentially pass various skill checks. Medicine does have quite a few skill checks throughout the game, and science also does, as well as you can just get into computers, similar to like what we talked about with MOBIUS and KLEIN'S scrubs. This one's not as much, but this one you don't have to go to the DLC to get. This one's also very, very easy to get because all you have to do is basically just give Julie a bunch of chems, and she'll just give this to you because the followers are probably one of the easiest ones to actually become idolized with. Even if that becomes kind of an issue, you are in New Vegas, so it's not very hard to find or buy chems from various people just to give to Julie. Coming in at our number 6 spot, we have the Naughty Nightwear. Naughty Nightwear you can buy from Mick and Ralph's, and it is a very unique set of clothing that you can get. This doesn't have any sort of damage threshold, as well as this does only weigh 1, so again, Pack Rat can cut that in half to half a weight, which is awesome, or just carrying around 1 extra weight really isn't that big of a deal. And this one has the unique effect of giving you plus 1 luck and plus 10 speech. Plus 1 luck is really big because there's not very many items that actually get you plus 1 luck or plus anything luck. It's basically this and the Lucky Shades and that's it. And the Lucky Shades is way more difficult to get than the Naughty Nightwear because you have to become idolized by the Legion. The Naughty Nightwear is by far way easier because you just have to go to Freeside, buy it from Mick and Ralph's, and this one is really, really useful for taking into casinos because luck does affect your chance of winning in any sort of casino game. So unless you have 10 luck, you should always grab the Naughty Nightwear just so that you can have that plus 1 luck. It is going to cost you a little bit of money, at least when you buy it, but that's okay. And having plus 10 speech is also really good because there's a ton of speech checks throughout this game. So having both of these is a win-win. Coming in at our number 7 spot, we have the U.S. Army General's outfit. You find this one in the Divide. It is on a dead ghoul who presumably was the general. You can also find a 10mm pistol next to him as well, which is kind of nice. This one has 1 damage threshold, so it does have some armor, but not very much. And it also only weighs 1. So once again, it is affected by the Pack Rat perk, which is pretty cool. The main advantage to this one is that you get plus 10 speech and you get plus 5 guns. Plus 5 guns is okay. You're probably not going to be wanting to use this over something like the Bounty Hunter outfit, just because the Bounty Hunter outfit is better for combat. But plus 10 speech is going to be useful no matter what, because you can always toss this on, and you can get this right at the very start of the Divide, so you don't even need to play very far into Lonesome Road. You can just go there and grab this. Lonesome Road is also great just for running there and getting you a lot of money early on, or getting you a very strong start early on, because you can pick up things like nail guns, which are actually pretty decent weapons and sell for a ton of money. You could also get Bowie knives, which again are worth a ton of money and are really, really good weapons early on, especially if you're going with a melee build. Even if you're not, it's still really strong. And you could also potentially get like arc welders, which are pretty awful weapons in my opinion, but they do sell for a lot of money. So you could grab all this. You could also grab the MREs that are all over the place there, which make for fantastic food, and then grab the Army General outfit where you're there too, and then head back to the Wasteland before going to the Divide again once you're kind of got some more levels and can actually fight a lot of the things there. Coming in at our number 8 spot, we have the Vault 3 Utility Jumpsuit. This one actually has appeared in a couple of the Fallout games, because I remember it being also in Fallout 3 or some variation of this, some sort of utility jumpsuit. Anyway, this one can be found throughout Vault 3, which you can get very easy. It's just north of Novak and south of the 188 trading post, I believe. So you head there, there's a bunch of ants around that place, and then it's just into the wall. And you don't even really need to go that far into the vault, you just need to start searching lockers, and there's a chance that you can get one from that. This one has 0 damage threshold, so you don't really want to be using this in combat. Only weighs 1, which is fantastic. And this gives you +5 lockpicking and +5 repair. Both those are really, really useful. +5 repair just makes it so you can repair stuff a little bit better than you otherwise would, which was more important in Fallout 3 because there was a limit to how much you could repair, and that was based on your overall level. In Fallout New Vegas, it's still really useful because you're just going to use up less resources that way. It could also potentially unlock recipes for you temporarily, which is great. If you need to make weapon repair kits, that's pretty awesome. And +5 lockpicking is very, very useful if you need to get into some place that requires lockpicking, similar to how we've talked about all the things that give you plus to science. This one isn't as much as the science ones, but hey, +5 lockpicking is still pretty nice. You throw on the book, that's either a +10 or a +20. Coming in at number 9, we have VERA'S outfit. VERA'S outfit is obtained towards the very end of Dead Money, so you do have to get through the majority of the DLC, and you're going to have to anyway, because Dead Money is one of those DLCs where once you commit to it, you have to see it all the way through. I believe you can actually get 2 VERA'S outfits, if I'm remembering right. There's one on her corpse, or her skeleton, and there's one, I think, in a nearby nightstand, or wardrobe of hers that you could get. This has 2 damage thresholds, so it does actually have some armor to it. Weighs 2, so not very much, and is affected by the pack rat perk. And it has 3 benefits to it, which is awesome. It has +1 charisma, which means more barter and more speech. Very cool, as well as just charisma checks. And then it has +5 barter and +5 speech, so this is actually closer to +7 barter and speech. Again, assuming your charisma is not maxed out already. That is pretty useful. Barter checks and speech checks, once again, are the most common checks in the game. Having more barter, having more speech is very useful for those. And as well as this one, I just really like the look of. I think it's one of the cooler looking outfits in New Vegas, and definitely more unique than some of the other ones. And then coming in at our number 10 spot is Daniel's outfit. This is from the Honest Hearts DLC, and you can get this one either from killing Daniel and taking it off of his body, or whenever you complete Honest Hearts, it can be found at the Foot Locker at the end of the mission, so you can just get it there, which is pretty awesome. This has 2 damage threshold and weighs 2. It has less item health than some of the other outfits that we've talked about for some reason. I don't know why. Doesn't really make for that great of armor, but it does have the added effects of +5 barter and +5 medicine. Again, this is mostly going to be used for skill checks or for potentially making some more recipes with the medicine. If you need to get like +5 more medicine or plus maybe 15 more medicine from this in a book so that you could create certain chems. Or again, just pass skill checks. Medicine does have a decent amount of them, same with barter. So pretty good overall. Not necessarily the best for armor, but you might just throw it in your inventory just to have it for those occasions. You can have a lot of combinations of these. Certain ones you kind of wouldn't need to overlap. Like if you get Dr. Mobius's scrubs, it does kind of outcompete a lot of these just in terms of utility, as well as something like the Naughty Nightware. But hey, sometimes that's how it goes, and it depends on what you want. It also depends on how you enjoy looking in this game as well, because a lot of this does depend on that. So tell me if you like this, and if you'd like to see the armors ranked this way too, light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. I think those would be very interesting to have top 10s or top 5s for. If not, I may end up doing them as tier lists. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye!